Double M on 105.9. It's always a pleasure to welcome my next guest back to the show. It gives me a chance to upstage Bob Costas, who's interviewing him tonight on NBC Sports. Let's welcome back to the program the best hockey player in the world. He is Penguins captain Sidney Crosby. Sid, good to hear from you again. I want to read you a quote that one of my Twitter followers said about you and get your reaction to it. She wrote, "Sidney Crosby is the best player in hockey, but he plays like he thinks he isn't." Does that sum you up?
Oh, I definitely appreciate that. I think I've always been, always tried to have a good work ethic, and obviously consistency is a big part of that. So, I think that's the way I try to play, and every time I'm out there, I try to make sure that I'm being my best.
Last night wasn't one of your best games, but you got 2 assists. You set up Magna for his first NHL goal. Not a superstar effort, but you got the job done. Talk about that game, and talk about how much fun it's going to be to set up a kid like Magna for his first NHL tally.
Yeah, it was just, it was kind of a weird game. I think there wasn't really a lot going on. It seemed like it was kind of a little bit slower, a lot of play in the neutral zone, and it was a close game and one that we needed to win. We had let a couple slip away, especially close ones. In the third period, we got away from things and, paid the price in the third period a couple times. So, to win a close game like that, the way we won it, and to get a big goal from, like you said, Jason Magna, who's, you can definitely see has a lot of potential and did a lot of great things last night. He pretty much dominated the game when he was out there. He created something every time, and he's got a lot of talent, and I'm sure he's going to play for us for a long time.
These injuries have to be frustrating for you guys. Scuderi's out now, Kobastu's out, but you guys don't seem to carry that around with you out there. You don't seem to be frustrated, and if you are, it's not visible. I guess you guys have been down this road before, haven't you?
Yeah, we have. We've gone through that a lot. Whether it was myself or Gino's missed an extended period of time before. Flowers missed some time at certain points. I think right through the lineup we've had to play without guys and with a depleted lineup, and we've always shown that we can find ways to win even with missing guys. So I think it's something every team is going to deal with and have to go through, and the fact that maybe we're going through it a little bit earlier in the season, hopefully that's something that later on we don't have to deal with it and we can get past it early on here.
I know in last year's playoffs you didn't go as far as you wanted the team to go, but nonetheless, you're healthy. The concussion thing's hopefully behind you. You got to have a whole lot to feel good about as your career moves into its next phase, don't you?
I don't really think about it a whole lot, to be honest with you. I think that, I don't really think of it as a whole like that, but I can tell you that I definitely probably have a greater appreciation for playing, and after going through, concussion and missing that much time, you definitely have an appreciation for playing every day and competing and being around the team and everything that comes around with, with playing. So I think that, try to appreciate it and go out there and get better, and obviously learn from a year like last year where we did a lot of good things, but, didn't do enough to win. So that's ultimately why we play, and we'll try to figure out a way to get back there and be better.
I know you don't like to look back, but have you figured out what happened against Boston yet? For the life of me, I can't.
No, I mean, we did a lot of good things against Boston. Unfortunately, we didn't score. Personally, I didn't find a way to score, whether it was, on the power play, or I think we were 0 for I don't know how many on the power play, and generate 2 goals in 4 games. That's not really the way you win a series. So we did generate some really good chances. Rask was really good. You have to give him credit. He made some big saves. We definitely didn't get any bounces around the net, that's for sure. But we still just didn't get those big plays in tight games, and ended up ultimately, that's what hurt us.
Do you still flinch every time Brooks Orpik winds up?
No. I think pretty much got past that, but it definitely took some time, when you're going to front, especially, when I first came back, you're going to the front of the net. It's something you have to get past pretty quickly when guys are going to be shooting. You especially have to go there pretty often. So, yeah, it's something that it was just weird the way it happened, but it's something that probably crossed my mind a little bit more when I first came back.
Well, that injury, Sid, and at the time, obviously, my God, you had to be thinking, what next? What else could possibly happen? Because you're over one thing, but that was just so totally freaky.
Yeah, I mean, for where I was on the ice and for the puck to kind of glance off the skate like it did, and even for usually you have a pretty decent amount of time to avoid that with how far I was from Warps. I mean, he was at the blue line, so usually you get a high shot like that as a player in front, you're able to kind of dodge it, and just the way he was kind of aiming towards the net, I wasn't able to pick it up as quick as you typically would, and kind of lost it in the guy's feet. And then by the time I found out where it was, I was a little too late.
Now, I want to talk about your line. You've played with Chris Kunitz and Pascal Dupuis for quite some time, and they're both really good players, but I wouldn't call them necessarily all-star level players. Yet you seem to have such a level of communication, and you seem to play such a similar style as those two. Talk about the success and the way you guys have built on that success, gotten better, and really not gotten stale.
Yeah, no, I think we're always trying to get better, and like you said, there is a lot of communication there, and they probably get tired of hearing from me after a while. But I think the fact that every night they work hard and they generate chances, whether it's from forecheck or being physical or being strong in around the net. I think there's a lot of different ways they create. So both guys are fast and they're physical and they go to tough areas. And I think consistently every night to create things, that's what you need to do. So the fact that we've played together for a bit, we all kind of trust what we need to do out there and believe in our own games individually, but also with how we kind of do things out there together and what's important to make our line successful. So we all have a pretty good grasp of that, and we try to do that every night.
Now, Kunitz in particular plays a lot like you, I think. The forecheck, the physicality down low. How much does that help to have a guy who can get in ahead of you once in a while, who can grind down low and support you that way as well?
Yeah, no, it's big. I mean, everyone needs to complement each other, and certain styles kind of fit well with certain guys, and with both Duper and with Cooney, they both get in the forecheck, like you said, and whether you're the next guy in or you're the first guy in, you expect there to be a loose puck somewhere, and you have to react, and you have to trust that guy's going to be in the right place. So they make it tough on other teams. They make guys turn the puck over, or they force guys into making mistakes that they might not typically make because of their speed and because of their forechecking. So that's important to create chances.
Now, this is an Olympic year, as I'm pretty sure you're aware. What about Chris Kunitz for Team Canada? What about him playing on your wing over in Sochi?
Oh, I think he's definitely, with the invite to summer camp with the year he had last year, with his start, I think he's definitely in the conversation. I don't think going into the last season there wasn't too many people who were talking about that, and I think he's definitely in the conversation. And especially when you're talking about the Olympics, you see that a lot where guys that have played together. That's a nice thing to have in a short-term event like the Olympics, and having that familiarity helps a lot. So, I would definitely expect him to be in the conversation.
What's it take to play with you? Because, as I'm sure you know, not everybody necessarily clicks with you, especially on an international level where there's such a short time to put it together.
Yeah, I think there's different styles. I think for me, I like to play pretty quick. So I guess by saying that, just trying to attack, you try to get the puck moving forward quickly, and some like to go a little more east-west and slow the game down a little bit, bring guys to them, then make plays. But I think I've always kind of gelled with guys who like to, as soon as there's an opening, through the neutral zone or is there an opportunity to get speed onto the puck, then you use that and you attack right away. So that's kind of more the style that we play, and that's kind of the style that I've gotten used to playing.
We're talking to Penguins captain Sidney Crosby here on the home of the Penguins, 105.9 The X. In an Olympic year, Sid, with you guys, obviously a Stanley Cup contender, How tough is it to divide your attention? How much do you think about Sochi, or is it just a matter of what's on tap for that day?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it comes up a little bit. I mean, whether it's emails or information or being asked about it, the drug testing, all that stuff. I mean, that's kind of stuff that every once in a while, you are reminded of it. But I think ultimately you want to be playing well, and what you do with your own team is going to have an effect on the Olympics. So I think if you just kind of worry about doing what you normally do and kind of take care of that, then everything else kind of works out, and you don't really have to think about it that much. So, other than the questions or the odd day-to-day thing that's a little bit different because of the Olympics, nothing really changes that much.
Now, you've done a lot of things in hockey already, Sid, accomplished a lot, but when you scored the goal that won the gold medal for Canada, in Canada, back in 2010, has anything else changed your life as much as that moment?
I don't even know if it's changed my life. I mean, I think that it's something that it's pretty common in the summer. I mean, for someone to come up and say, I was here when you scored that goal, or I was actually in Vancouver when you scored that goal, and they tell the story about it. I mean, that's probably the coolest thing about it. But I don't know if it's really changed my life, other than the fact that I feel pretty lucky. I mean, every kid in Canada dreams of being able to, to have that opportunity and do that. So it was pretty special, and it was just amazing to be able to do that at home in Canada, playing hockey, a sport that everyone's so passionate about. I just feel lucky. I don't think it's changed my life, though. I mean, I don't think anything's different because other than the fact that I get to kind of share that with a lot of people.
Now, I know what your expectations are. I hate to sound demanding, but I think a lot of people feel this way. Are the Penguins overdue for a cup? Is there a certain amount of pressure now? Well, you know what I mean. I hear you laughing, but you guys have so many great players. Is there a certain amount of pressure now not having won one since 2009?
I think there's always pressure. I don't know if I think the expectation of our team every year is to win, and that's the way it should be. As a player, you wouldn't want it any other way. And I think, as a player, we're given every opportunity by ownership and management to be put in that position. So, we have that expectation every year. Is that a reality that we can win every single year? No, but we're going to do our best every year to try to make that happen. And it's not always going to go perfect. And obviously last year was disappointing that, yes, we didn't get to the finals, but I think we did a lot of good things. And there's a lot of things that we can learn that, we did well, and a lot of things that we're going to have to adjust to get there and to do it right this time. But, I don't know if overdue is a word. I think that we've been right there, and we've got to find a way to win the next one. But there's a lot of other teams saying the same thing.
Talk about Marc-Andre Fleury once the playoffs roll around, Sid, because I still have a lot of faith in the guy. I know what he did in 08 and 09, and I know what he still can do, and I'm pretty sure you feel exactly the same.
Definitely. I think that obviously everyone knows last year he took a lot of heat after the playoffs, and I think a goalie is kind of a lonely position that way. Everyone's, looking at you when things don't go right, and obviously that was the case with Mark, but, we all know that there's a lot of different things that happen, and I don't think you can blame one guy, and it's always easy to blame the goalie. So I think the way he's responded, this year and just continued to do his thing, I don't think he's really changed much, to be honest. The year he had last year was a pretty solid one, and I'm sure a couple of games in the playoffs he'd want back, but I'd also want back 4 games against Boston too. So I think we're all in the same boat there, and I think that just the way he's handled it as a teammate and as a friend, I think he's handled it unbelievable, and he's been focused this year and just ready to come back and do his thing, and that's exactly what he's done.
I do a lot of radio shows around the country, Sid, in NHL cities, and they all ask me, how many points can Sidney Crosby get? I always say like 200, 220, because I think it's the funny thing to say. But in today's hockey, with it being so systematic and so defensive, not just for you, but for any great player, what's the top end? How many points can a great player get in this league the way the game's played?
I have no clue. I mean, I'm probably the wrong guy to ask because I haven't played a full season in a few. But I'm trying to think. What was the last winner of the points race when it was 82 games 2 years ago?
Oh God! Now you're testing my memory. I don't know. I know the last time it really got busted open was back when Mario was still in the first part of his career, and he topped 160. Since then, I think 120, 115. That's kind of like the high water mark.
Yeah, I think Henrik Sedin had 114 or something like that. So I would say anything right in around there is probably the top. I would say, especially. I mean, there's so many systems and there's so much on each guy as far as video. You're not going to surprise anyone. And I don't know. It'd be tough to top that, I think, right now.
You know, it's funny because when I appear on those shows, I also say that, look, I know Sid pretty good, and the points really don't matter that much, not nearly as much as the winning. And people don't believe that, but again, that's true, right?
Yeah, the winning is what it's about. I mean, we play this game to win, and obviously as an individual, you want to be at your best and do your best for your team. And I think personally, I want to make sure I'm doing everything I can. And part of what I do is obviously to go out there and try to score goals or create goals, and I try to do my best at that. But at the end of the day, we all play to win, and no matter what, that's the best feeling. Is at the end of the day when you win a game, that's what it's about. So, yeah, there's no doubt that's what we're playing for.
Now the house is finally done, correct?
Yes.
Only took the better part of a decade. You must feel like it went pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't here in the summers for 2 summers, so I probably didn't help that process. But the guys working here were great, and definitely happy to have it all done.
Can you believe you've been in Pittsburgh as long as you have now? It seems like forever. I can't believe you're 26 now.
It's scary. It's scary how fast it's gone by. Even with missing that time, I thought that it might seem like it was a little longer just because you're not playing and things like that. But I'm at that point now where I look back, I'm talking to guys about 2 years ago saying, remember this, or remember when we played this team or this happened, and they're like, that was not 2 years ago, that was like 4 or 5 years ago. So I get my years mixed up already. It's gone by quick, and it's been fun, but it's definitely going by quick.
Sid, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time. As usual, I like to leave you with one piece of advice, and this time it is, kid, when your helmet comes off, get off the ice.
It's the last minute of the game. I can't do that. Now, and they're up.
You were up by 2. You're up by 2.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, hold it. One. You know you're not going to hit the empty net anyway, right?
Oh, yeah. I have to work on those big time. Let's be honest.
Well, ask your landlord. He was good at it. Hey, again, Sid, thanks. We'll see you at the rink tomorrow night.
All right, thanks.
That's the great Sidney Crosby. Always enjoy having him on. That Costas interview tonight, it's going to be really good because Bob Costas is a great interviewer. But I guarantee that Sid and Costas won't have as good a time as I had right now. It's the home of the Penguins, 105.9.